How's it going? They've changed how they do a live on Chrome, and I can't put like a little title in for some reason. It also may be my internet because it's so lovely here. Ugh, such a frustrating thing. Anyway, how's it going? It's Monday morning. Gosh, it's going to be warm today, just like it was yesterday. It was like 93 or something yesterday. It's going to be 91 or something like that again today. Crazy. Anyway, I want to show you a couple things that I got because Earth Yarn is doing drop shipping along with Barocco, but this one I did Earth. But so I took advantage of it too because when I buy from the yarn companies, I have to buy in bags, and it's often there's sometimes big bags and they're expensive and everything. So it's hard for me to try new things. And so I thought, okay, well, me being able to buy just a one or two here or there, I got to try a couple things. So we've been carrying Earth for a few months now. But again, like it's a big monetary commitment to stock a new company. And so right now we only had worsted, but I wanted to see what the fingering weight was like too. So I ordered a couple of, excuse me, sorry. This is, it's called Unique, I think. No, this is monochrome fingering. And isn't that a gorgeous pink? I just love it. And it's just beautiful tonal. So this I got to go with it. I don't know if they'll go together in a project, but I couldn't not buy the Unique skein to go with it. It didn't really go with it, but I mean, I like them together because they're just different enough, but yet this one's got just a little bit of pink in it here and there. I love combining two things that they have just a little bit in common, but not a ton. I don't like things too matchy. So I thought this was a perfect, let me turn that around so you can see the color better. Perfect match for me. Anyway, so it may go into brioche because I'm a little obsessed with brioche right now. I don't know how I didn't like it before. So silly, right? But I'm a little obsessed with it now. And I didn't bring it with me today or else I would show you my progress. I purposely did not bring it with me to the shop because I would want to keep working on it. And I'm not working on it today. I'm working at shop things. So, and then I also ordered the DK cotton because I mean, it's now cotton season, right? So it's time to start thinking about cotton tops and stuff like that. So I bought enough of these to make a top. Isn't that pretty? Oh, this one is number, because they just have numbers for their yards. 1081 is the number. It's 275 yards. It is 100% cotton. Yeah, it's mercerized cotton, so it's got a nice finish on it. But I just love, and it's got a little bit of orange because y'all know me. Orange is my favorite color. But I just love the variety of colors in their stuff. And I'm pretty sure they have a monochrome cotton too. I can't remember now because I looked at so many different ones. But when we get back to normal, I definitely will like to stock this. But you don't have to wait for that. You can go on, excuse me, you can go on earth.com and pick out which ones you like and then let me know and I can order them for you. And I set up a special order and we just take care of it like that. And I ordered this like 3 or 4 days ago. It came really fast. So pretty fun. Okay. I want to talk to you today about, we're going to do like maybe this whole week, we're going to talk about yarn weights because it is a little confusing. And especially if you're a new knitter or crocheter, you may not have a whole lot of experience with it. And I'm going to get this out of the way because it's my Earth yarn bag. Oh, and how fun is this? They sent the two colors that go together. They sent it in this pretty little bag. Anyway, it's kind of fun. I like pretty male too. Okay, so we're going to start with fingering. Fingering is my favorite. I know there's a lot of you out there that love doing the thicker yarns. My favorite is fingering. And since I'm doing the video, I can start with whatever I want. So, sorry. Again, Texas heating up, lots of things blowing around allergy wise. And I'm not really all that susceptible usually to allergies, but in the spring, I think it just gets everybody. Anyway, okay, so fingering weight is not the smallest, but it's close to the smallest. And it is what people normally use for socks. Now, I really like fingering weight because it's thin. And it's because we live in South Texas or even up to mid and North Texas, we don't need thick, woolly things very often. And so I kind of figured if I am doing, sorry, I'm distracted by the construction going on outside. I don't know if you can hear it or not, but they're right outside the door, and I'm thrilled they're doing it now while we're closed or sort of closed. Get it all done. It won't be all done, but get a lot of it done so that we won't be dealing with it right now when we open back up fully. Anyway, okay. If you use a thinner yarn, you can wear the things that you make with it a longer amount of time. So I can use a shawl that I've made with thinner yarn, through up until now. I mean, I really, in the evenings, if it cools off a little bit, like this morning, it was a little bit cooler. I could wear a shawl if I needed to. So I'm going to show you a few different ones here. This is, I'll tell you what, I'll start with a traditional sock yarn. This right here is Crafting My Chaos. And this is also a self-striping yarn. So make sure, yes. So that's another thing we can talk about later. I love these colors. I think Becky Burns with Crafting My Chaos does a beautiful job with her colors. So that's why we stock it in the store. Plus, I really like her. She's a very nice person. But and she's a Texas dyer, so that's even doubly cool. But anyway, you can see the size of this yarn. There we go. Get it really nice and close. I'll tell you what, let me do a different color so you can see it on my finger better. Well, come on. There we go. It's not very big. It's a really small yarn. I like it because it's easier for me to deal with. If I start working with chunkier yarns, it makes my hands hurt quicker. Like if I am like doing a knitting marathon or a crochet marathon, to me, now this is not for everybody, but to me, the thicker yarns are more work. Yes, this does take longer because it's not as much of it, and it does require more stitches to get to the same place. But again, because we are in a warm climate most of the year, I can wear it longer. Okay, so this is a traditional sock. Traditional sock usually will have either 20 or 25% nylon in it, and that just increases the wearing time of it. Olden sock yarn didn't have the nylon in it. It was wool. So even if you have a full wool fingering weight yarn, you can make socks with it. I think that just you add the nylon and it just makes it stand up that much longer. You won't have to darn it as quickly. I've got socks that I've had for years that they're just, in fact, they're the cheapy sock yarn, and because they have nylon in them, they're holding up. And because this is, way back before I knew any better. Okay, so there's a traditional sock, and I also have another traditional sock, and this is by Annie Yarn, and you'll always know hers because she braids them. I just think that's so much fun. And it's got fuzz on it. There we go. But she does an 80-20 sock. And I'm not really sure. I know that Crafting My Chaos yarns aren't as fluffy. So it depends on what you like. There are places for all of them. So Annie also does sorry, Annie also does an amazing job with color. Again, I'm a color person. I love color. So that's the thing that um, pulls me in the fastest. And so anytime I find somebody that does a great job with color, I'm like, I want that in my shop. So, but this is, I mean, look at the tonal. It's so pretty. And with both of these, I'm like, what color do you want to give me? I'm good with whatever you choose. So yeah, so it's beautiful. So this is also 80/20. Now, traditional sock skeins are also big. There's like 420, 450. Like this one's 460, this one's 400. So they're around the 400 mark. You can easily make a whole shawl out of one skein. So if you go to, say, a yarn shop or Anna Marie, I do not yet, but that is definitely something I want to think about, because we're going to start doing more and more live classes like this. And as soon as we get back in shop, yes, I do. We have had a live, not on, yeah, amigurumi in the shop, and we will have more of those. Those are already not planned, but ready to go. So yes. Okay, so you can make a whole shawl out of one skein. So if you go to a yarn shop and you find a beautiful colorway that you love, but sock yarn is not cheap. The good stuff is not cheap. So you just want to buy one skein. It's perfectly good to buy sock one skein, because you can make a whole shawl out of it. I love getting, like I did with the fingering, with the earth, I like getting contrasting ones, and then I can make an even bigger one or brioche or something like that. But I don't have to. I can use this somewhere else, or I can use this on its own. It's okay. This is fingering. So theirs is just merino. It's not sock specifically. It's just fingering. They do have sock kits for earth as well, though. But anyway, so the nice thing too is a shirt or a top takes about 12 to 15, maybe 1,800 yards. It's a lot. But if you're doing a fingering weight, it's only between 3 and 5 skeins. So yeah, it's still an outlay of cash, but you don't have to buy 10 or 12 like you do with some other ones. Okay. There are also, let's show you this one next. This is Barocco Ultra Wool Fine. This is not a sock skein specifically. It would work for socks. It would be just fine for socks because it is a fingering weight, but it's just wool. But the nice thing about this is it's nice and fluffy. You can see how fluffy it is. And it's, let's see, this one I think is around 400 yards too. Yeah, this one's also a 400 yard skein. I use this, if you've been in here, I have a shawl, the crochet shawl that I did with this. In fact, I'm going to go get it. One sec. I'll get a couple things that I have done with this weight of yarn because they're just good. They're just good ones. Okay, so this right here, I mean, look how pretty that is. And it's not real thick, you can see, but it's got, because this is crochet, it's double. So it's got some weight to it. So, and this one took, you can see how big this is. This took 3 of these skeins. It didn't take a crazy long amount of time because it was crochet, but I love the little scallops on the end of this. This is also a Barocco pattern. So I wanted to do the shawl in the same wool that it was meant for. But again, fingering weight, and you can see the difference. This one's a little fluffier and not quite as tightly woven because it doesn't need to be for socks. All right, one other one I've got. This is called Kettle Tweed. And this is from Knit One Crochet Two. Again, really good on the colors. I'm loving this one. This one's also for something. Let me find out how many. 437. And it's tonal. Now I have some, if you guys have been in here, you've probably seen them that are not just tonal. They're like all different colors. Like there's one that looks like a watermelon. It's so much fun. But this one again is a little fluffier. You can see that. A little bit of a loft to it because this one has got 60% merino, 20% baby llama, 10% bamboo, and 10% Donegal. Donegal are these little flecks. This one is not meant for socks specifically. You could. It would be just fine. The bamboo would help it stretch just a little bit. Bamboo, cotton, and silk stretch a bit for socks. So you just have to keep that in mind as well. But the bamboo in it help it to drape. So this is the same yarn, just a different colorway. It's one of my favorite things. This was so easy. This is a knit, one skein. One skein is all this took. And the nice thing about this one is too, is that you start on one end and you grow it from the end. So you start, I think you cast on like 2 or 3, and then you just grow it from there. And it's so easy. It is literally just garter stitch. And then the lace part is yarn over, knit 2 together. That's it. And I actually ran out of yarn before I got to the very, very end, or I decided that I wanted it. I can't remember now. It's been a little while since I made it, but I just changed it. It was no big deal because it was just those 2 stitches or 2 rows of stitches. And you can make it however you wanted. If you wanted to make it all this lacy part, you could do that as well. I kind of like it all mixed in together like that. But yeah, so that's also fingering. Now this one's knit, so it's not as thick as the turquoise one. So yeah, so that's a smattering of some fingering weight yarns. Let me hold them back up again so you can see. I mean, they're all very different. I think they are anyway. But they're all the same weight, and you can see they're all not exactly the same thickness. And when we talk about some of the other ones, the ones that drive me crazy is sport weight. Sport is a huge range depending on what company you get your yarn from. We'll talk about that later. But they are a bit different, but you can usually tell fingering. Fingering's pretty easy to tell. I just love it. Okay, so that is a little overview of fingering weight yarn, and we will continue to talk about this. One other thing just popped up on my little calendar reminder. We are going to try, this is something new, we're going to try a virtual trunk show this coming weekend. So you'll hear more about that, or you'll see more about that. Euphoria Knits, she does, again, Texas dyer, beautiful color. She does a great job with color. She and I were supposed to have a trunk show. She was supposed to be here last weekend. And of course, that didn't happen. So we said, hey, let's try a virtual trunk show and see how it goes. So I will be posting about that today for sure. But let's see. I think that's all for today. And I will see you soon. Remember, you can always get me online, Susan@yarntexas.com. And don't forget that you can try out any earth yarn and any Barocco yarn, and they will drop ship it to you. You just let me know what you're interested in, and I will take care of the rest. So I will see you later.